you on the back straight away. I have some, straight away rapid fire questions. We start with rapid fire because when we are sitting in between them and the lunch. So when the rapid fires are there, the lunch is not remembered. So I have some statements. You have to complete those statements. Okay. So the statement is in line with the topic we have got: learner-centric outcomes with collaboration and communication. So my first statement goes to Priya. Learner-centric learning fails when dash dash dash.
So learner-centric learning fails when it's implemented without a proper structure.
Okay. So Nikhil, managers block learning when they?
I think when they treat L&D as a repair shop for the problematic employees.
Okay. So collaboration improves learning only if
it is based in a real life problem statement.
It based on the?
It is based on real life problem statement.
Okay. So Nitin, the most overrated L&D metric is?
Me.
You are a metric.
Because you are always asking me. Right? So don't ask me, ask business.
So let me ask a general question to everybody. You can ask. If learners are honest, they would say dash about the programs.
I'm doing this only to get done off the reminder emails.
It will depend upon the program being conducted. I'm sure all of us would agree with that, but mostly people would say that it's both exciting yet overwhelming at times.
Exciting, overwhelming. Okay.
I think people come up with a lot of things that could have been better.
Okay, they could have been better.
What I can implement back.
What I can implement. That's a very positive way of mentioning your point. Thank you. So we start with the questions and thank you very much for getting the attention of all the audience that is pin drop silence now. Let me start with Priya. Priya, there's a question which says that everyone talks about moving from standardized programs to competency-based learning. What is the hardest part of making the shift in reality, not the theory?
So I would say that one, to be able to identify what the exact competency is, and within the competency also to be able to see what's in it for me for each learner, and then devise your program accordingly, but also look at the assessments accordingly, because it's easier to design a program, but really difficult to look at the ROI for each learner. And designing a what's in it for me so that everyone is engaged and they look forward to, so rather than a push, it becomes a pull towards learning.
Right, nice. Anyone like to add on this?
So I think when we talk about the competences, it's sub-organization competences. And it only gets completed if it has a sub-competences attached to it. Because you can't attack the competence directly. You need to see that if the result orientation is one of the competences which I see into my employees, in my all stakeholders, right? Either it's a shop floor or a dealer technician, what kind of a subset of competences he has to deliver. If we are working on that, competences will work.
Thank you, Nitin. Nikhil, how do you ensure competency frameworks translate into on-the-job performance rather than just on the paper?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question for everyone to think about. As someone who's dealt with a lot of ADCs, I would say having competency frameworks in place and just on paper doesn't make any sense unless you actually move it from having it on paper to an operational simulation. Right? We were talking about simulations, role plays in basket exercises, etc. So only when you have it as a proper simulation, when you execute that simulation and when you see the behaviors coming out, then it makes sense, because otherwise it's just off the board and on paper and it would absolutely be nowhere.
Any used case you have experienced it?
So when it comes to an ADC, there was one client which I worked with which had a good 64 competencies with sub-competencies, and this was said by a German person. So I'm not going to give you the name, but you can guess, right? So when you apply this center with their people, with their sales managers or with their service managers, as soon as you have a simulation, or as soon as you have a behavior which is not coming out very effectively, over and over a period of time, you tend to go ahead and delete that particular behavior, subcompetency or competency. So if it is not executable, if it is not visible consistently, if it is not visible with one or two people, then you may understand that this person is not able to demonstrate that behavior, right? However, it is not visible consistently, then there's something wrong. You're just putting it on paper and it's something that cannot be executed daily. That's what it is.
Thank you. So Spandan, you have a question with respect to AI and LXPs. They say that they are enabling personalization. How do you avoid, overwhelming the learners and the choice while keeping the learning relevant accordingly?
So I think the one thing that we're seeing with AI and LX personalization is the Netflix problem. There are too many recommendations. You get really confused. And so I think one of the ways to tackle that would be to put in role-based recommendations. So if I am at a certain role today, what role do I aspire to be in the next 6 months, 1 year, 5 years down the line? And so what should the learning journey be? Let AI personalize that for me. Who are the people who've come before me, who've been on that same journey? What were the courses that they've done, or what skills have they picked up? That is one way of doing that.
Interesting. So Nitinji, a question for you that what is the skill gap analysis revealed about your workforce and that generally change your design of the learning journeys?
Okay. So you have asked me a very technical questions right now. So I will answer it technically.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we have an IoT systems which is placed in our vehicle. Now this IoT systems is nothing but the giving you the real-time information. Okay. Now it's just a described number of errors. Now those errors are coming and repeatedly coming, and why they are coming. So this data goes to my sales team, my service team, my production team, my R&D team, my quality team. Now we do it that okay, this is the live data which is coming in. Weekly we share the pointers with them, and we manually don't share it. They have their own login. They can see that what are the design parameters, so that can be seen by the R&D department. If there is in a PDI kind of an or FI kind of a thing, that goes to the quality department. So when you see that where is the improvement area for me or for my team members, that is the one, because still we work in silo. Now, how those silos is creating an impact on the organization business, that has to be taken care in the number. That because of these design gaps, we have these many hours lost on the production law. These are the losses which has converted into the quality law. These are the quality losses which has happened to the sales law, or if sales has happened, it has cost to me the warranty cost. So if you can make that kind of an, but yes, I may tell you it has a lot of blame games also. No, it's not mine, it is not this vendor is there, then the vendor development team comes in, then SCM comes in, फिर सबसे आखिर में HR की बात आती है क्योंकि हायर सबको HR ने किया होता है, तो fault comes to the HR and they take the ownership.
Interesting. I'd like to go deeper about it. And when you talk about skill gaps and you mentioned about IoT devices, is it that you have an integrated dashboard which talks about the skills, the skill inventory, and at the same time it is merged with the results outcome also?
So we do not match the skills, we match the tag types, right? So that time improves. Now I may give you, how many of you are into the sales, understand the sales? Market share, have you heard about it?
Yes.
What is the formula for market share? How it is going to hit me, or how I will improve? Sales upon industry. So same thing I shared it somewhere. My and my partner is into the strained relationship. then my friend like you says, I told you, ये पढ़ी लिखी लड़कियां, ये वो. I said, please understand, problems is with me. I never do any kind of work at home. I never cook. I never go on time. Whenever I go home, I drink. I'm a Punjabi guy. I party. So why she will live with me? Same happened with the sales and marketing also. If you are talking about the market share, sales upon industry, it is not going to give you any result because market share is the coverage ratio to the hit ratio. Problem is with the coverage ratio, so do your actions to improve the coverage. If your problem is with the hit ratio, please do and take the actions to improve the hit ratio. So these kind of inputs AI can generate for me because nobody can ask me, no, I'm doing this. You are doing this, prove it. I'm not in a hurry to do anything.
Very interesting. In fact, what you just mentioned, the metrics part, some of these things can be automated, which can be put in a dashboard, and at the same time, we can ensure that it is giving a visibility at the decision-making level. That will help us out in increasing productivity, increasing market share, and we always believe that process is more important than the outcome. Accordingly, only outcome पे focus करोगे तो process मार खा जाएगा.
सर आपने वो कभी गन्ने का जूस पिया?
पिया ना बिल्कुल.
राइट. चाहे आप महाराष्ट्र में आप पंजाब में हो तो गन्ना दोनों जगह. Right, because both are the तरह.
गन्ना बताना पड़ेगा क्या होगा?
Sugar cane. Right. Now, if you are having a sugar cane juice at the roadside, right? Not the shopkeeper who makes that juice, and he on the last time he push his body towards the machine, right? And he always gives you the glass of juice, and then he said, please take a one sip, and then he pour another sip on your glass, and that sip gives you the eternal level satisfaction because you are paying the 10 rupees, 20 rupees, and you get this much extra. Can I give this much extra to my organization, or to my industry, to my nation? Or not? I'm not here to expect the things from others. I'm here to deliver.
Great. Thank you, Nitin. Thank you very much. Spandan, I have a question for you also. You are I think the youngest of the lot. Sorry, yeah. all the girls are the youngest, of course. We say learning is social, yet silos persist. Yes, agree or not?
Absolutely.
So what has actually worked in enabling meaningful peer learning and knowledge transfer?
So, like I also mentioned in the rapid fire, the one word, it has to be rooted in a real problem. So one thing that we've seen at our site is when people huddle right after a problem, the collaboration is the greatest, the learning is the greatest. So what is it that we're solving? It cannot just be, I know something and let me tell other people. It has to be, there is a problem, let's come together and solve it. I know some bits of it, you know some bits of it, and let's learn from each other. So I think that is something that has greatly helped collaboration. Other than that, I think we've also, and again, taking example from my own organization, something that's really worked for us is recognition to people who openly share. We've had, it's a refinery, a manufacturing setup, and we have subject matter experts who have been doing the same things and who've grown through the ranks in the last 15-20 years. So it's niche, and yet we were looking for people outside to give us the knowledge that was required. So of course now we're also trying to train AI models on their knowledge, but that human touch and that's just irreplaceable, I feel.
Agreed. In fact,
If I can add something here. In fact, I totally agree with what you're saying. Just prior to a couple of years, I would say in our organization or many organizations, we usually have this behavioral calendar, functional calendar, technical calendar. But with this, there was a slight change in the mindset. We thought of having a knowledge sharing calendar. And when doing a TNA, we actually involved all the managers, HODs, in order to come up and say what is it that they can transfer. What sort of knowledge can they transfer? Because when we have internally competent people, I think you don't need to really look outside. So yeah, our knowledge sharing calendar worked well for us.
Knowledge sharing calendar is a very good idea, definitely. And again, my chairman always says that whatever you do, don't make it routine. After 3 months, it becomes a bubble gum. 6 months, it becomes something else. So make sure that you keep on adding some or the other creativity, innovation into that. When you were talking about Spandan, I was remembering the movie Chak De. You remember that how the socially so siloed mentality of the players, they all came together when there was a challenge. And when there is a challenge in the organization or department, that's the time the bonding takes place. So as a leader, an L&D leader or a business leader, we should always be giving some kind of challenges which can be internally focused or externally focused. जहाँ threatening हो जाए थोड़ा बहुत, तो learning automatically self-learning हो जाएगा.
Absolutely.
What do you say, Priya?
So, whilst I agree to what you're saying, I would also just add a point here to say that the learner of today does not work with threat. So you need to have a lot of buy-in. We need to create that ownership from them, because it's a very mixed world, and we were having these conversations during the breaks and with other people as well. We are in a situation where we have the extreme learned, we have the middle managers, and then we have what's the new on the block. So if you come from a place of threat alone, it will not work, because the generation today, of course, is much smarter, and they'll say, hey, I know what you're up to and what you're wanting me to do. And that's true, because sometimes it's a fact that they can also say to our faces today. So we have to be cognizant of the fact that they bring in a lot of smartness and intelligence too, which we cannot disregard. At the same time, they bring in a lot of they understand that we bring in experience, which also cannot be disregarded. So to go hand in hand, I think this methodology of what we used to call the carrot and the stick, I think it's kind of passe now, but what really works is when you believe in the learning your own self, lead by example, they see you, they know there is a path to growth, and that's when they get excited to learn as well.
So I just might clarify, it is not about giving threatening. But what I meant was that when there is a threat to my existence, people evolve and they start learning themselves. They find out ways. That is what, for example, nationalism works on that only. If there is an attack from a foreign country on us, we start bonding together. That is exactly what I meant.
Even Darwin's principle.
Darwin's principle. Okay, Priya, sustain.
Just to also clarify to that. So when I was answering for threat, what I'm trying to say is that not just bring them together in a position of doubt, but also bring them together in a position of saying, there is something exciting, what is it that you want to do? So let's say you want to launch a new menu in a hotel. Now, rather than only going to the experienced people saying you design, bring it to them to say, this is something new, would you like to add? And you will see them coming together and the learning also happening.
Staying you only, Priya, how do you activate technically strong managers? Because this is a fact that if you have a strong leader and manager, you will have a good team down the line also. So who may not set themselves as coaches to support sustained behavior. Basically a strong manager. How do you ensure that?
So there are many factors to this. So one, it has to be a part of their own KPIs. So they understand that their being technically strong is what the department looks forward to. They also understand that what they do is also based on the growth of the other people. So it's not to say that, I be myself and, as a good manager, you cannot have that attitude. To also see that what you are doing technically has to be given, like we were using examples of knowledge sharing. So it has to be given down to, your employees, and you kind of learn in the business as well. So you share knowledge, you learn from your superiors, and you also learn from the team that you're working with. As far as coaching is concerned, I think one shift which is already happening, and to kind of all of us to also see, is that earlier there were times when managers would think that my job is only to manage the shop floor and just make the business, etc. And training is only L&D responsibility or an HR function. I think today it's becoming more and more evident where operational managers are also understanding that training is a normal part of my job. It is not something I do extra. It is for me to do well in my own department. I will have to invest that time and effort.
Staying on the same question, since you mentioned about coaching, being a coach, I am interested to know, coaching is relevant at what level do you think in the organization? Junior, middle, senior? I mean, typically executive coaching, you call it, ICF level kind of thing.
Right. So I would say the executive coaching per se, in my opinion, that's relevant at a level where the person is moving from a mid-management to a senior management and essentially moving from a doing role to an executing role. Because I think that shift is where the major gap lies. All of us in our junior years have been the doers because, and I think the previous panel was also talking about it, that you have to know the business yourself to be able to lead it one day. So you have been a doer, which is part of your training and work experience. That's fine. But to move ahead, to understand how do I now start executing or managing my people, that's where I think the executive coaching kind of starts to build in. However, most effective again at a stage where the person is able to think for their own self. Because what coaching really would do is, and all of us understand the ICF model, etc., is to say that it's not going to give you answers. The answers come from you only. It's just a thought process change, and it really enables you to think beyond what you would have thought on your own. However, just to add on, and sorry if it's taking time, but I think coaching is also important at a level to in a different format for a new joinee. So, for example, in our organization we have something called as a buddy program, which is not something new. I mean, a lot of people also do it, but it's a different form of that exercise. Just a friend at work. For me to get comfortable, then you move on to a mentoring level, move on to a final coaching level, which is the ICF model, etc.
And maybe a mentor buddy kind of thing.
Yes. That's not coaching, but that's just a way to settle down better into the job role.
It's a general question to anyone who can answer. How is AI impacting the coaching processes? Has anybody explored it?
I don't know but how AI is impacting coaching, but AI is coaching me.
Is it coaching you or mentoring you?
Coaching me also, because it's a game. And one of the, I learn a lot from the everyone, right? And the only thing which I have is my learning quotient, right? Now I may tell you, I met one of the person who said that AI is nothing. How strong you are into the prompt engineering, right? So even after taking the decision also, sometime I ask from AI also, right? Most of the time I ask my team members, okay? And different. I'm not talking about the team members in terms of HR, right? In terms of sales, R&D, production, my shop floor guys, my dealer. So whenever I have taken the decision on the wage code something, compensation and benchmarking. But in a different storytelling, I may ask my dealer and dealer team, right, that how it is impacting these kind of things. What is your idea? Because the third eye is the real eye which gives you the. So sometimes you need to know that what kind of a prompt you need to make, but yes, it helps. It helps.
So if I could, talking of prompt engineering, I would say I've conducted more than 25 sessions on AI. I'm an AI trainer. Talking of prompt engineering no longer is as a heavy word as it used to be. There's something called as magical wand, where you ask the AI to create a prompt for an AI tool. Right? If you're using Gemini, if you're using ChatGPT, you ask ChatGPT to create a prompt for you, and that's it. It's as easy as that. So the entire RSTO methodology, the PRO, MPT, prompt engineering methodology, all those are now useless. So, I mean, that really works. So that is one thing. And the other thing I wanted to add is, AI can augment your ability. However, when it comes to coaching or dealing with people, this is a research. There have been top 3 things. Which are the top 3 things? I like to keep it open to the audience, which an HI can manage or do effectively, but an AI can't, according to you. I'm sure you guys have been doing top 2. So, which according to you are the top 3 competencies? Sorry? People management. Okay. And? Boss is a part of people.
But down the line.
Right. And anything else? Okay, so I'll quickly conclude. I'll say leadership, empathy, and ethical judgment. Okay, so these are the top 3 qualities that an HR has and AI doesn't. So if you're dealing with a person who is sitting, in a room crying for his promotion because he is occupying the chair for 15 years, not improving his competencies, and AI can't deal with that person. You, as a human who requires those 3 skills, can effectively deal with such a person and still motivate him or her to do better.
Yeah, just saying on that, I have explored things I can share with you that you can try with the AI, any platform. You act as give a prompt, you act as a ICF certified coach and coach me on this matter, but you have to put a guardrails on that. Sometimes AI acts very tough coach, but you have to put guardrails in your prompt itself.
You can even create a gem or a chat GPT, a specialist GPT who's a counselor, a specialist gem who's an ICF coach. But then eventually, when you're dealing with a human being,
no, let me share with you. There is no replacement of a human coach, okay? I am a human coach. That's the reason human coaches charge a bomb. Compared to AI coach, it comes at free of cost. Let me stick to the questions. I think Priya answered this question about technically strong managers. Nikhil, they said that managers play a big role, very very critical role in learning transfer. So, what is one thing which you personally try or ensure that the learning sticks?
the one thing that's worked for us has been post-training inquiry by the managers, right? So it's very easy for a person to sit in a classroom session or any session and forget, right? Forget flattens significantly if the manager is involved in inquiring kya sikha, kya tha, what is it that you can do in your daily role. When the manager gets directly involved in checking, investigating with the learner as to what is it that you've learned and what is it that you can implement, it makes a lot of difference and the forgetting curve flattens.
Interesting. Nitin, I'll come to you. This question, since you mentioned about the learning outcomes earlier, how do you build a collaboration into learning without making it feel like additional task? यार ये भी पढ़ना है, tick mark activity की जगह पे stretched employees kind of thing.
एक तो मेरे को अपने चौधरी बनना, बाकी किसी का नहीं बनना, right? I want to be only my guardian, my leader, not the leader of others. So my mantra is very simple. I don't lead anything. I initiate and I say, Rishi ji, you did a great job. Now lead it, run it. Either it's a Diwali function, either it's a 3-wheeler, either it's a car, or either it's an organizational strategy. Right? My job is to ensure whenever there is a failure, I may come in, either I can resolve it or dissolve it. So my mantra is very simple. Business runs on profitability. Careers are important. And am I making my business towards that or not? Where my or your kids are ready to join. If it is happening, I'm making the business. I'm not in any kind of businesses which is into the valuation game. I bring in value to the table. If you value me, you will get the value. If you don't value me, don't expect the value. Aunga 2 time punch, 1 time lunch. That's enough for me.
Crunch. तो एक कहावत है ना, punch, munch, lunch और फिर punch.
If you need value, sir, you need to give value to the people, right? They are the one who are. I don't run any of the HR initiative. All initiatives are the business initiatives, stakeholder initiatives. If they feel worth in it, run it. I'm not able to make everyone to please do this. That's not my job.
It's interesting, sir. It's too good to be true. जो आप बोल रहे हो, but it's very very good, right?
सर मैं सुबह से यहाँ बैठा हूँ, राइट? कोई फोन नहीं आया, कोई मेल नहीं आया, और मेरी टीम भी यही शो देख रही है, बिल्कुल जिन्हें शायद लिंक भेजा होगा, right? So let them enjoy, let them fail, right?
You're reminding me of a song which used to sing in Doordarshan, "Mile sur mera tumhara, to sur bane hamara." सुना होगा ना आपने?
I may tell you, we have run the thank you card where people are going on the AI and the digital platforms. We've gone back to the hardcore card kind of a thing. Where I may tell you, we have a plant in Pune where my workers are given the thank you card to my chairman, and he has framed it. So you need to talk about the core values, or you live by the core values. That kind of hardships you need to put into system.
One word which is coming very closely to this, what you're saying, is psychological safety. You know, that is something which is very crucial, and creating a culture of psychological safety in the era of learning, collaboration, competition and performance.
Sir, ये collaboration लिखा है, किसके साथ करनी है? With whom we need to do collaboration? Give me the answer. Profits, a beta, and a beta positive, a beta negatives are not going to work. A beta margins are going to work. If your beta margins are there, profits are bound to be there. If your intent and content is going to be there, that is collaboration. अगर profits के साथ नहीं है, जिस मर्जी के साथ कर लो.
Absolutely.
So that's the way you need to see. Communication किसके साथ करना है? Stakeholder. You need to talk to your government also. You need to talk to your policies also. The government policies and HR policies and business policies has to communicate with each other. If I do not understand that what is the EV policy, what kind of a subsidy the 11-ton truck gets or the 7-ton truck tank, how I am hiring people? I'm not on a STEM. यार मेरे को hire करना है, क्यों करना है? What is the market share in the AP? What is, if I give you the one more manpower, what will be the increase in the market share? So that kind of a communication we need to make it to make whatever the outcome-centric organization.
I totally agree that business outcomes like EBITDA, NPA, these are the aspects which are very, very crucial for the L&D, HR professionals to understand, and that's the reason they can make an impact. In fact, I don't know if that's the honestness that labor costs which are these days impacting, which is being discussed a lot. Maybe we can have more discussion over lunch. My question to, I think we are left with 2 minutes. Maybe have a one bit answer from all of you. Can you share an example where a better communication, collaboration around learning that actually led to a business impact? Very small, brief answer.
I have an example to share in this. So, in hotels, we go by what is called the LQA audits as well as the NPA score. So, in terms of, and picking on from what Nikhil also said, so when we designed a program last year, it was to say that let's look at what our guests are saying, because that's, you know, the mantra to say that guest is everything and we're doing everything for them. When we designed the program, we looked at both the stakeholders, so the business, of course, with the design itself and better collaboration and communication to everybody, we realized that our LQA scores went up and the NPA scores also went up, which is a direct impact, which also leads to the profits, like we're saying. And that's the other question that we were also taking from, to say that training man-hours is not only, you know, the metric or a metric which needs to be there, but not just looked at in isolation. You need to look at your business metrics as well, as to how they are evolving, and, you know, with what you're doing, the proof of the pudding, like we say, is in the real business metric being moved in the right direction.
Right. Thank you, Priya. Anybody else?
I think communication at every level, and you mentioned this, and we spoke about coaching being effective at what level. I would say almost at every level. You know, if you're a sales manager, you're probably good at people management in addition to just sales, and if you're a sales executive, you're maybe good at numbers, right? But communication and collaboration at every level, respecting the opposite person's strengths and helping them overcome their areas of improvement or places that they can develop through an IDP or something. I think that sort of transparent, open communication, discussing challenges and addressing those significantly impacts, the numbers by the end of it, and even the sales cycle, the turnaround time.
Great. Thank you. Spandan?
So I think one example that I'd like to take is of reverse mentoring. That's something we've introduced in the last 2 years. We have a very young workforce, an average age of 29 years. We have young people driving every aspect of the business operations, the business side. And I think with that, the communication and the right kind of communication has really helped us bring in productivity and expand scales. So that, and while it is, we're talking about learning and development, so I think introducing a bit of empathy into the communication is going to go a long way in collaborating with the multi-generational workforce.
Thank you very much. नितिन जी आपने तो बोल ही दिया था.
आपको एक चीज आपको बतानी पड़ेगी लेकिन सबके लिए कि because we are living in the world of data and social media. Okay, manipulative communication will never succeed the authentic communication.
Yes. Absolutely. Manipulative communication will never succeed. Okay, since we are time is up, I'm not going to ask a quick fire with them, but let me ask the audience. So I'll start it with a one word kind of finishing the sentence. So since some of you may be, glucose levels may be down, so I'm going to read this one word, few words, and you can complete it. Learning today feels like innovative answer will definitely be rewarded by Bill Gates by giving additional sweets in the lunch. Okay. Learning today feels like louder. Isolated. Okay. AI powered. Okay. Manager communication today is dash dash dash. Manipulated.
Or yet to happen.
Yet to happen. It is open for this side also, sorry. Collaboration in organization is mandatory, difficult. Okay, these are hide and seek. It's very innovative. You get additional.
Or it's a business world.
Business?
It's a business world conference.
Business going. Okay. AI in L&D makes you feel scared, lost, empowered,
Curious.
very optimistic,
And curious.
augmented. Okay. The last future of learning is
People-centric.
Time is up.
sorry, connection. Okay.
Human intelligence.
Okay. Thank you very much, friends. I think time is up and a great